Hey guys, welcome to the ASYMR Podcast, episode 2. In today's episode, I was joined by OldHeadGaming, where we have a good back and forth going over exposing Saber basically in their antics around Evil Dead the game and how the game panned out over the course of the year and why it truly did fail. And you know, there's a lot of reasoning behind that, and I do have a few screenshots from a developer there which I do share in the podcast. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the podcast. This was a really hard one to make, especially with it sort of being my last Evil Dead video. It did go over 3 hours long, but I did cut it down to a suitable size for you guys to consume, and I hope you really enjoy it. And it was a lot of fun doing this, so I hope you guys enjoy the podcast. Why do you think Evil Dead the game failed?
Well, personally, I feel like I've been attacked for like 7 months now for calling it a cash grab.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's kind of where it was. I feel like Saber US had a mind that they were going to get X amount of money out of it.
Yeah.
And then that was it. And I know you have been calling for battle passes for the longest time. And I was like ASYMR guy. And we're like, this game's not bringing in natural revenue.
No.
And that's one of the things you really need for live service games.
Yeah.
And they just never wanted to do it. They did the discounted battle pass if you got, they did the discounted season pass if you bought the game. So you got it for 20 rather than $30. And then they individually price them. But long bouts of silence, never good. Never wanting to actually talk to your community, never good. And it just seemed like they never wanted to put a penny into making anyone know this game actually existed. It was probably the worst game I have ever seen publicized in all the years I've been covering games.
Yeah, you're right there. The marketing, even before launch, was just a huge red flag, man. Like, you don't even know what was going on, because were you around there when they did the interview with Tim Willits and Bruce Campbell? And that Jeff Keighley guy that does the Game Awards. And I think the game was due to come out in February or March, around that time. But we were expecting a release date from that interview, weren't we? And then Jeff asked him, like, oh, how's development going on the game? He says, development's going really well. And he went on a tangent about how great something about Evil Dead the game is. And then I think it got about 2 weeks before it was supposed to come out, and then they just said, oh no, we're delaying it to make it the grooviest experience possible. And
not to forget that the reason it was pushed back to February, it was supposed to drop October 11th of the year before.
Yeah.
And they pushed it back because they wanted to really drive home that wonderful single player experience.
Oh man.
And they ended up canceling 2 out of the 10 missions.
Yeah, exactly. And the annoying thing is that game would have been out way earlier if it wasn't for so many people crying for single player games. And I like my single player games, but I also love my multiplayer games. And you know, we've already had 3 Evil Dead single player games now, haven't we? Regeneration, Hail to the King, and Fistful of Boomstick. Yeah, it's like, why are we crying out for a single player game? Let's see a new spin on the franchise. And even Bruce said, you know, them single player games were so rudimentary that he felt like this game was going to be on the next level of quality in terms of swimming with the big boys out there, like Dead by Daylight and stuff. And it definitely did, because they got them AAA developers behind it who worked on, you know, Arkham Knight, for example. The guy who did all the weather on Arkham Knight worked on the fucking game. Like, people coming from DICE and who worked on Battlefront, Battlefield, all working on this game. It's like a whole different caliber compared to what we've seen in other ASYM games.
And you could tell Bruce really wanted this to be the game. Like, yeah. And if you ever heard the conversations like with Bruce anywhere, like I've done tons of videos on like anytime Bruce had anything to say about the game, which was pretty frequently because he was more than willing to come out and talk about it. He was always talking about this wonderful, expansive world that we can expect and all these crossovers and what to expect from Rise and all this stuff. And if you ever hear Tim talk about it, he just was like, Quake 2.
Join my
Quake 2.
Yeah, join my Quake 2 LAN party.
What?
He just, every interview though, he just seems so uninterested in the amount of just smoke that you just feel like was being blown up our asses from what was coming out of his mouth. It was just phenomenal. So your main reason why Evil Dead the game failed was you think it was a cash grab, right?
I do. I think they wanted to basically, they had a bunch of licenses lined up already.
Yeah.
And one of the things about video games is you take that money and you can make it back pretty quickly. From what you invest into the structure of the game, whether it's your developers' hourly wages, what it costs to compute the game, etc. And then after that, it's just like profit. It's just basically I'm not sure if you ever watched South Park, but it's basically the underpants gnome situation. It's like step 1, step 3, big profit. And like that's what they went for. And they sprinkled in just enough extended content that they could sell off additionally to give this illusion that this game was here to stay.
Yeah.
And anytime they had an opportunity to kick Evil Dead in the balls, they absolutely did. And it was kind of the level of apathy that you could feel from Saber towards both the community and the franchise was pretty atrocious.
You think it did that on purpose? Do you think they purposely mocked the player base and ignored them and like being like to push us away, so the game when it eventually got turned off or lack of development and content, we wouldn't be so hurt by it?
I think when you drop a collector's edition and it sells out within 10 minutes, like I literally couldn't even get home from work to buy mine because it was already gone.
Yeah, I was streaming Dead by Daylight on that day, and someone in my chat, I think it was Sporter, he went, "Oh, they've just dropped the collector's edition." I went, "What?" So I just, I think I was mid-game, I just stood still, and I was like, I was on my phone just buying my collector's edition straight away.
So I don't have the collector's edition just because I missed it. Like literally, that's the reason I don't have one. Not that I didn't have the money for it or I didn't want it. It's just I missed that very small. Like I think Xbox was sold out in like 7 minutes or something absurd like that.
It was crazy.
And when they sold all those copies and sold 500,000 copies going into launch, they basically just looked at each other and said, "Wait, what?" Like I feel like they thought this is a great niche market to get into, the ASYM world, and with a license that has enough recognition, we can make some money on it, but no one's ever heard of it, so it's fine because no one's going to want to play it.
Yeah.
And they grossly underestimated what a 40-year-old franchise has in the way of fans and how this was an opportunity for them to kind of live out that Evil Dead fantasy. And when they hit like it did, it was just like, ooh, that was not what we anticipated.
No, they definitely didn't anticipate it. When I spoke to the dev, he said that they could not predict the success of this game. However, they were extremely satisfied with what happened. I'm not surprised because they made a shit ton of money. You know, what was it, 500,000 units sold in 5 days?
Step 3,
for an
profit.
for an Evil Dead game, 500,000 units in 5 days is crazy. And then, according to the trailer, when Splatter, was it the Game of the Year edition come out, it said join over 3 million players in that trailer. And I was like, 3 million? Where the hell did they get 3 million from?
That's everyone that's logged in on the free version on Epic. That's everyone that's logged in on the free version on PlayStation. I'm still astonished it never hit Game Pass for money.
That was my next question I was going to ask you. Like,
sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. If we got there anyways, I was like, do you think like would survive if it went on Game Pass, or do you think it should have been on Game Pass a long time ago?
Well, I think if you look at what happened with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre knew right away they were getting in bed with Microsoft.
Yeah.
And it literally, the game was announced at the Microsoft Bethesda panel. Like that's where it was announced. Like we knew from day one that Gunn saw the value of what you can get from having your game on Game Pass. First, you're going to give away copies of the game. That's just without a doubt. But you get loyal players and you get that Microsoft bag. Don't worry about that. You're gonna get that Microsoft bag.
You got that big bag of cash.
Then, anytime you add something to it, it's something to buy. So you're just making straight revenue off of that. And you get this massive player base where people can try the game out. And if they say, you know what, it's not for me, that's fine. But if they do like it and get very invested in it, you've just drastically increased your player base.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the things, like everything they chose to do was to shrink the player base. They never put it on Game Pass. They did Epic Game of the Week, which is really only a week. And they put it on Epic to start with, because let's be honest, PC gamers love Epic games. And they also
do.
did and if you take PlayStation's very all about we hate Xbox. So they probably, when they went on PlayStation's Plus's Essentials, there was no way to put it on Game Pass too, because they probably blocked it.
It was on there for a month as well, right?
Yeah, that's how PlayStation does it. They do a month rotation.
That's crazy. So it was on Epic for a week,
right,
for free, and that was how many months after launch? 6.
Roughly. Sounds about right. Yeah,
about 6 months, wasn't it? Because it was just after they dropped that prestige system. Poor timing, by the way, on that.
The prestige system timing. They didn't want to do, and then were guilted into it at that first amazing presser.
Yeah, did you watch that? Yeah, that first dev Q&A when someone asked about a progression system in the game, and the dev just turned around and she was like, well, you've already got profile levels.
Yeah, like
we all want profile levels, right?
We did for all the live streams, we covered them live, and I remember people just like basically suffering from narcolepsy through all of them, like passing out. Like I had literally someone woke up in my chat like 2 hours after I was done streaming and put a note in, "Oh, I just woke up. The stream's over." I was just like,
did I miss anything?
You didn't miss anything at all.
It's just that stream I was supposed to be involved in, I'm kind of glad I wasn't in the end, because that was a shit show. I think it was 2 hours before we seen any gameplay. Say 2.5 hours roughly, I think, of just them talking around, like in front of like that horrible red animated background that was in the game. Like they were just all they would do was just talk, and they were trying to invite people didn't have the right game like version installed to play on the stream. It was just a horrible mess.
And then you had, Cal and Sahinki just jerking each other off underneath the table. It was good time.
I loved their freaky eyebrow movement. I loved it. Every time,
just
man.
Wild shit.
Yeah, horrible jokes coming on, or some creepy ass jokes, and then their eyebrows would just start going up and down, almost touching and interfering with their hairlines. I was like, oh man, I need to get out. And you know what's sad? And this was from the dev as well. He said that they paid, millions. I don't know if this is true, or they paid a cool mill just to be on the front page of Twitch with them dev streams.
Oh, ouch, piece.
I don't know if it was just a flat mill or something, but they paid a shit ton of money to be on the front page of Twitch. That's not going to be cheap.
Well, they had an opportunity.
You come in
that
there,
they didn't take advantage.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. You come into that, right? So you load up Twitch. You're like, oh, Evil Dead the game. What the hell's this? Let's check it out. And then you see Sahinki and Cal sitting there. If you're totally unfamiliar with the game or wanting to learn what the fuck it is, and you see those two guys sitting there, you're immediately just clicking off that shit.
Well, they had an opportunity to reach out to the community. So when I started covering Evil Dead, it was about a year before the game came out.
Yeah.
And I remember like in the beta days, there wasn't a lot of us covering it. I remember you were there, me, and there was another guy, Chris something or other, who we just never saw from once like the game actually went live.
Was that one guy that got the copyright strike when he tried to upload gameplay?
Yeah,
it might have been him. Yeah.
Yes. And there was a few of us, but like I understand all of us were pretty small at the time in unknown quantities, so they paid for bigger people at the start. But once that transitioned and like basically people went to our channels to figure out how to build stuff or to get insight on stuff or break down what's going on with patches, like you can reach out to content creators, because a lot of other games do, to kind of compensate for the fact that, if you're watching that dev stream, it was an absolute shit show.
Yeah.
And if you saw the like comments in it, they were like, my God, it was just basically, this is boring. Can we see something?
Yeah.
And unless that is your goal, which there is the subterfuge part of Saber, like deliberately killing this game. If that was your goal, then you succeeded tremendously. Like if you basically wanted to make everyone as flaccid as you could possibly be towards Evil Dead as a franchise, you did it. Like that was anti-boner or us. But if you wanted to get people excited about the game, that was not what you achieved.
No, definitely not. And that's the thing that pisses me off on the most with these live service games as well. Not that Evil Dead was live service, because I don't know what the hell it was in the end. But it's just the lack of the community streams. I hated it. Like, you didn't even have to pay people to do it. I think people like myself, like you, Wheezy, we would have done that, willingly. If they come to us, they were like, oh, do you feel like hosting the Saber Weekly stream for us right now for Evil Dead the game, for this week? Like, hell yeah, I'll do that for a couple hours, talk to the chat. Can't obviously divulge any information to them, because it's just like, well, yeah, I don't know anything. I'm just a content creator. I'm just here to kind of bring your thoughts on board. Or, even if they had a better community manager that could sit in the stream whilst they, I sit there and game or something, interact with the chat as well. That's something that should have been getting done with this game if they cared about it, but obviously they didn't.
I mean, content creators deal with NDAs all the time. Like, it's nothing new. Like, hey, we're going to be bringing out this character. We want you to show them off. You can't talk about it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Like, it's not hard stuff to do. Like, could you imagine if they were doing a dev stream and say, Wheezy was the demon, you, me, Moose, and Mitty were the survivors? Do you know how that would have played out compared to what we actually got? Like, that would have been like, people would have been having so much fun with what they actually saw, and seeing people who apparently like know how to play the game and can actually entertain people who are playing the game. It would have gone over such tremendously different.
People who, like you said, neglected the game after launch a lot. Like, they come and go. Like, they would only drop in for the updates, and then they'd leave and go back to their Dead by Daylight or their other game.
Or
all
like
the time.
Take Uncaged. I love Uncaged Gaming. I really do. I love his channel. But the dude's an MK. That's his bread and butter. Like, the game was launched, he basically met like his 5 days and was out. Like, gone. Like, up to launch, I will help you out. I'll play with Bruce Campbell. Ask him why he's not in Mortal Kombat. But after that, he was out. And I mean, it wasn't his bag, and I get that. But like, they, Slash and Cast stayed around a pretty long time. Laugh-In stayed around a pretty long time. But like, a lot of them, they hired just for like, that's it, I'm out.
Slash and Cast might have to stay around for a bit of a time, but I do love Riley over there, because I talk to Riley all the time. But he, Slash and Cast, they consult or work for Boss Team Games, so that's kind of why they have to stay around there. But I know when I was in conversation with Riley a lot about it, he was venting the frustrations there as well. Like, Riley's the one who hooked me up with giving away the Savini Ash cards, like all the codes on my stream and stuff. But yeah, I think even they couldn't have foreseen what the hell was going on there.
It's tragic.
It is tragic. Right. Now let's talk about this message I have from the developer. So just to put into context here, this is right. So I've had this viewer on my stream since Dead by Daylight. I'm not going to say who it is, but he was in conversation with the developer who I was talking to as well. Like, we were all kind of friends. We all talked to each other. However, the developer is not allowed to talk to me anymore, because I got put on a list of a bunch of other content creators that they aren't allowed to speak to, because they have like scrubbers running through their messages and DMs and stuff. And they had this massive chat intrusion from hackers back in like November time. I think it was roughly around that time at Saber. So they kind of had to stop going on Discord and going into DMs and stuff. But he did actually message this viewer on my channel the other day, just after Evil Dead shut down. Because my viewer was concerned for him. It was like, oh, it's such a shame Evil Dead closed down. All your hard work's just kind of gone at this point. He was like, Evil Dead is a complex game with high graphics at 60 FPS on the PS5 and Series X. All Evil Dead team members are now on a new game. So from the other departments of Saber, they just can't keep the performance rate making new content because of the complex forest foliage, grass, lighting, and CPU cost as they did at Saber Madrid. But I don't think they will close the servers. Thanks you guys to enjoy the game. It's been a hard work due to the small budget of the game. So that's the first message. What do you think of that? So,
So-
as I made aware to the community, I think I might have been the only one that made this aware that the game shifted studios from Madrid to Saber US roughly November, December time of last year when we got all that silence.
Yeah, during the interim between what was referred to as season 1 and what became half of season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was aware of the shift. And I'm not surprised that no one's working on the game. I kind of had that feeling when so I got my butt like chewed out and had a lot of people unsub to my channel when I dropped a video called "It's Over for Evil Dead."
Unsubbed. Jesus.
Unsubbed. Oh yeah, like I had like 20 people unsub on that video. Because I said, listen, you can read between the lines. This is a developer, and it was basically I broke down everything we had seen prior to the Tim interview and then post the Tim interview. And there was a lot of clips in there. It was like an 18-minute video, which I don't normally do. Like I try to keep my videos as short as possible.
Yeah.
But I broke down everything, which basically signified that, hey, this game is done. They have no interest in doing anything more. It's the whole maps are hard interview.
God, yeah.
Maps are hard.
Do you know though? There's an interview with Tim Willits back when he did Quake 2, and he said multiplayer maps are the most important thing in a video game. Like, there's an interview out there with him on Quake 2 saying that.
Well,
going over how good maps are for games.
I included in that video when he said, was talking about the future of Evil Dead before it launched. And I forget where he was on, Slasher Radio maybe. And he talked about, going forward, all maps will be free for the game.
I was looking for that interview before we did this podcast, and I couldn't find it.
It was on Slasher. I have that. I mean, I could go get that video clip if you need it. But he said that, and basically what turned out to be was the map they were late on will be free to you guys because it was you already paid for it literally as part of the game. But like people got really mad.
That Castle Kandar map was done a month before it was released.
And
I got that from the dev. He sent me screenshots of the map. He's like, "Oh, the map's done. They just don't know how to showcase it to you guys." And I'm like, "They don't know how to showcase this to us? What?"
Ridiculous. But yeah, I remember that point in time, and I dropped the video. Is this the end? And I said, "Listen, I'm not going to make any Evil Dead content for 60 days. And if we don't hear anything else in 60 days." You could just basically take what I've been telling you to the bank. Like I dropped a video in March when I had heard that the Switch version was canceled then.
Yeah.
And people were like, no, it's not. It's still coming out. Like, let's be honest. Who's going to fucking play the Switch version of Evil Dead, the game? You saw Mortal Kombat, right?
I would.
And it would be coming from the same developers. Like we saw the bang up job Saber did porting MK1. Like Evil Dead would have just like fried your Switch.
That's weird though, because they did such a good job porting Witcher 3, I think it was. I'm sure they ported Witcher 3, and that was actually really good on the Switch. But it's like they took that Mortal Kombat money. Like, oh, we're probably going to get less sales of Evil Dead on the Switch than Mortal Kombat here is offering us. So let's do their game instead of ours.
And if you're going to drop a game on Switch, you got to drop it close to release. Like that is the thing. Like unless it's like a greatest hits collection type of thing, like that's a problem that ASYMs have an awful lot is the game comes out and then the Switch version shows up like 2 years later. Like who's going to play an ASYM when you're that far behind on your Switch? Like
they did that with Friday as well, didn't they? Like they brought Friday out on the Switch even after it was like already like servers turned off, right?
It was like right before the cease and desist hit. So they snuck it out like just in time before the server. Like I think they turned off in November 20th of 2018. And I think like the Switch version came out like right around Halloween.
Oh my God.
Like they just snuck that thing out.
Yeah, I'd have been so pissed if I just bought that on the Switch. I was like, oh, this looks interesting. I'm playing an ASYM on my Switch. And then the servers are off. Great. They're not doing the game anymore. Oh man. But, I'll move on to the second message he sent in anyways.
Oh God. Here we go.
Yeah, so you hit the nail right on the head with why you thought this game failed, because he says games work this way. You make it during 2.5 years, and after a year of sales, in general, the game already made the target revenue. So they used to put that money on a new production to make the same cycle again and again. But dev teams can't assume game maintenance during they make the new games. What I can tell you is that Golden May, Lionsgate, Renaissance, and Universal Pictures will take my team to make games like Evil Dead. If a DBD 2 or a Friday the 13th 2 comes to life, it's possible we will make it. But for now, we are busy until 2027.
Good gravy. That's a long time.
Yeah. So going from them two messages, obviously, the first one about the moving the fucking game to Saber US, who are incapable of, who aren't AAA developers and are incapable of optimizing content to be added to the game. And that's you know, what was that, 7-8 months after the game had been out? You took it away from the developers that made it and give it to incapable of developers. And it's quite obvious to me that Ball, Brock, Amanda were all made by Saber Madrid, and Saber US just kind of you know, did a little bit of finishing off there and just pushed it out to us. That's how it sounds Ruby? To me. Yeah, and Ruby as well.
Yeah, we basically what happened. I mean, the game didn't even reach a full year of content. Like, it didn't even reach a full year of content. Like, it hit like, what was it, 11 months, I think I figured out.
Yeah,
was the last, like, April 26th, was that the last content drop?
Yeah, so 26th or 27th. Yeah,
basically right before, like a little bit before the month anniversary. So like, we didn't even reach 1 year. Like, how is a game that is designed like this not reach 1 year of content? It's absolutely asinine, unless it's a cash grab. Like,
which it is. Evidently, according to this developer, they got their bank and they took that money and okay, now we're investing that in a new game. We don't give a shit about putting this money back into Evil Dead to better the game going forward, adding, you know, new content, adding marketplaces, investing in some more people, doing cosmetics. Just, they did not care about that at all. And it just goes like, from all of that, from the screenshot, and then you talk about all the interviews that we've had with Tim Willits, and then that's when it just hits you. You're like, wow, this guy really fucking lied to all of us. The amount of smoke that was blown up our asses about, oh yeah, you know, on the back end servers we're going to be doing changes and balancing real time without doing an update. That was a good one. You know, we're going to be listening. We're going to be listening and seeing what the community wants. You know, if the community leans towards wanting more game modes or something like that. Yeah, the community wants more game modes, not Splatter Royale. By the way,
it was the most asked for thing ever in the history. I found a collective 0 tweets and or DMs or requests on the server while I was still there on the Discord server requesting a battle royale to be put into Evil Dead the game.
Man. I mean, when I first heard about it was before Castle Kandar come out, and I was like, all right, man. I mean, I get on board with a battle royale, I guess. This could be good, because the game at the time was fucking booming. Like, it had so many players. They were getting, you know, I think they were updating the game every 2 weeks. And I was like, oh, a battle royale could really do something in this game. You know, if you have the squads and the way it'll be designed will be interesting. But I had no idea it would be this shit. The most simple battle royale you could ever see. And then the skill trees on that was attached to Splatter Royale. I couldn't get behind it at all. And it's just the fact that we were lied to about that as well, saying, I think he got asked in the Game of the Year edition interview, whenever that was, by that random guy on YouTube, by the way. I have no fucking clue who that guy is. But who was that? I've never heard of him before.
I actually didn't even know the interview existed for like a whole day until I was streaming Evil Dead, and a couple of my, you know, I was dead people in there. They're like, "Old Head, what do you think of the Tim interview?" I'm like, "Oh, I haven't seen it." I was like, "I'm not going to make an opinion until I watch it." And I literally, once my stream was done, I brought up the interview, and literally my jaw just dropped like the whole time, because I could read the writing on the wall, even though there's people out there who still probably think the game exists. Like, you could see the writing on the wall. We have no plan for content. We won't be doing maps, and we're just bullshitting at this point. So people will still buy the game of the year. Because let's be honest, those poor people on Steam that bought this game were just straight conned.
Oh yeah, they were. It was like a pretend thing for Tim to come on there and just be like, yeah, we're not going to focus on doing content. We're going to do quality of life updates, and then we're going to see what the community wants, and then we'll see what we can do basically, and then put content out. I mean, we've all been begging for Chet since then. We all begging for a bunch of shit, new maps, everything, and they didn't even live up to the quality of life promises. Like,
I've never seen anything ask for more than maps. It was maps. Basically, from like, we all kind of were patient while we were waiting for Kandar. Like, no one said anything that we knew Kandar was coming in July. We're all like, we can chill. And then we expected, maybe September, October, maybe even November that we get a map, and then nothing came. And then everyone started panicking because there was no mentionings of maps, nothing referred to maps, and everyone was just like screaming from the rooftops. And like, Tim's like, what do you guys want? Splatter Royale got you. And we're like, what? No.
Splatter Royale being in development for, well, not development, sorry. Well, it was in development until it came out, but this was prior to launch as well. So the negotiations with Splatter Royale went on for 6 months before the game come out. And so they worked on that all that time. But in that interview, Tim said it was something that kind of became its own thing as the game went on. It's like, no, clearly that was a fucking lie, because, I've got the receipts right here from a developer that's telling me something completely different. And how have I known about it since before Castle Kandar come out? And it's just all of a sudden a thing now, is it? Okay.
Step 1, steal the underpants. Step 3, big profit.
So we're saying Tim Willits is the head of the underpants gnomes now.
That is my theory. Yes, I believe that is exactly that's what I'm going with. I believe that Tim is the leader of the underpants gnomes, and he was like, steal Evil Dead underpants. Step 1. Step 3, big profit. Step 2, what's that? We just ignore the game and pretend it never existed. But you guys all bought it hook, line, and sinker.
I was expecting you to be a bit more angry with my screenshots.
So
but you kind of already predicted it. Like, you already knew.
I mean, so like I hear things. Like, I'm definitely not as tuned in as you ever were with the with Saber, because Saber just hated me from day one. I don't know what I did. Probably because I like projected things they could possibly do, and they're like, "Oh, pump the brakes on that."
Yeah,
they're like,
hard.
Yeah, they're like, Old Head just keeps making all these crossover options, or like Evil 2 predictions, or doing all these builds for future. We don't want to do that shit, so we're just gonna ignore him from the get go. But like, and I've told you, like, we all have our sources, our little birds, and I would get things here or there, and like, I can tell you for a fact, they did not decide the day that they put out that tweet to cancel the Switch version. I can tell you when they did decide it, or at least approximately, was the end of March when I put out the video, Switch version's shadow canceled.
Yeah.
So I can tell you for a fact that's just a bold-faced lie. Like, this was, and I will never cover a Saber game again. Like, I won't buy games from Saber.
It's such a shame, because I fucking love World War Z. I thought it was great.
I had some good times. I had some great times in World War Z.
Yeah, and I always get itched to play it sometimes. I'm like, oh man, I could just sit and play World War Z right now, and then I'm just like, Tim Willits. I don't want to go near his games.
Yeah, it's a shame, because like, it's not that Saber's put out a lot of bad games, but I have never had a game leave a worse taste in my mouth than Evil Dead.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people watching this podcast, though, are going to be so pissed about what I've just shared about the handing off to a studio that just was incapable of doing anything.
They make mobile games
yeah,
like, that's what they do. Like, they're the ones that are going to make wild card football. Like, that's what Saber US does. They make mobile, and they make add-ons for games. Like, they're not a main developer. We all knew once it was shifted out of their base studio, that was the bad side.
Oh yeah.
And I think all of us really talked about it. Because like, you don't want a game that's supposed to live for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years to be suddenly taken over by the C Squad.
No. But it's It was just so short in the lifespan, though. Like, I understand if the game was out for like 2 years, then
Right,
put in maintenance mode. But
I expected like 2.5. Like that was what I predicted in the beginning. I was like, I feel like we'll get a solid 2.5 years out of it. We'll get probably, because of the path they had chosen was the 1950s, season pass model, and trying to bring that shit back. I figured we'd probably see like 3 seasons, and then they would be like, all right, we're just doing quality of life from here on out.
I kind of blame myself a little bit why we didn't get a season pass, because I used to just sit there all the time and I'd just be like, man, season passes are just not the way to go for gaming. And I used to do it in my older podcasts and stuff. I always talked about with the monetization of the game. I was like, you got to get away from season passes. Season passes don't work in live service games. And they
I was right there with you.
Live service games like Evil Dead, they work in games like Payday and stuff like that because they're like, AI, DLC, new missions and stuff. Right. But they just don't work. And the mess of the season pass was horrible. The first DLC, just skins. Like, what was it? Like eight skins or something?
Skins, yeah, 8 skin pack was the first DLC. And I remember, like, I was talking well before the game came out how this was a horrific choice. So we were both kind of running very parallel in that one, where this is not the model you want to run with to generate revenue. And like, I remember before I have even like gone into your streams and watched you live, like everyone was like, Pixels is just talking about what we need is a battle pass. And I'm like, I agree with them. A battle pass is like what we should have in this game. Yeah. I said, and if we don't have a battle pass, I was like Mr. S-Mart. Like, I did so many videos on why we need a cosmetic S-Mart.
Yeah.
And like, let's be honest, even if they changed it monthly, just think of the sheer revenue from, say, they put in once a month, they put in a new skin for everyone.
Yeah.
But
they never overpriced them. They never overpriced them as well, which is very weird. It was like, I mean, for my currency, it was like £2.50.
Yeah, like
coming from Dead by Daylight, I'm paying nearly £12 for a legendary outfit on Dead by Daylight.
Dude, Dead by Daylight is so crafty that next month they're dropping their first super iridescent skin.
Oh God.
It is $17 US, so like $20 20 pounds probably, about right around that. And it's a naughty bear skin for Trapper with its own unique Mori and voice lines.
That is, that's
they're going
all out. They're milking that.
Absolutely buy it, and I won't regret it for a second. Even if I play Trapper once a month, I'll be like, naughty bear, here comes those iridescent Moris. Let's go.
It's like, the thing is, I think that I wouldn't be surprised if they start doing stuff limited time. Like, with Fortnite, where they do this the stores, so they're like, oh man, I must buy this now because God knows when it's going to end up in the store again. I feel like
they already do it.
Yeah,
they already do that.
Yeah. Oh, they do that?
Yeah, they started that last Christmas. With they brought so last Christmas they brought out the Winter Wonderland collection, and it was like a Meg dressed as who was Meg dressed as? She was the Sugar Plum Fairy. You had a Nutcracker skin. You had a Winter Queen skin for Michaela. Like, they brought out all these. It was like a 6-person set, and they basically said, listen, they're here for a month and then they're gone. And they did. Really? Actually, they started with Halloween because they did that for Halloween too. So they brought out like Mummy Dwight and some other stuff.
Oh, I remember that one,
these. So now they have skins that like they come out for a few months and then they may or may not be reintroduced, or you just don't have them. And like, they know how to work the system to make you spend on FOMO. And that was something that Saber didn't want, because here's the thing: if you're working on a game and you're bringing in that kind of revenue via skins and other cosmetics, weapon skins, whatever it might be, there are going to be expectations tied to that money. And there always is. It's not just, I'm going to buy this skin. I'm buying the skin with the back of my mind, knowing that I'm paying to get new shit that I want later.
Yeah. And
they didn't want to do that.
I think Saber are extremely stupid in how, like, they had a cash cow just sitting there. Like,
massive.
You're an Evil Dead fan. Everyone watching this, huge Evil Dead fans. And I know fine well, I've asked it in my chat millions of times. Like, how much would you be willing to spend on a skin for Evil Dead the game? And I've had some crazy responses. People saying $20 for a skin. I was like,
dude, I do it all the time in Overwatch.
Yeah.
Like, I don't.
I mean, just think like you bring the finale Ash outfit out, $20 charge. Your entire player base will buy it because the Evil Dead fans, they buy anything they fucking see that has Ash. Like, oh,
Dude,
is this Evil Dead? Yeah, I'm buying that.
All my community want was for them to drop Chet and then to drop a Hercules skin pack where you had like Autolycus for AOD, a Joxer skin for Ash, and then a Xena skin for Ruby. And like people were like, I asked them, like, they're like, oh, I buy that skin pack, 3 skins, $30.
Yeah.
No problem. Like there was so much money to be made from this game that they just literally
I was
away.
so gutted we never got a value stop pack for Kelly, Pablo, and Ash as well. It's like it's just so much potential there. Like what the hell are you guys doing?
Like you bring Ruby to the game, and I one time counted because I was really bored and basically went through every episode of the 3 seasons and counted every time there was a new skin or new outfit for Ruby. Do you know that Ruby has 47 outfits through the life of like, even if you just made each one?
I would have said about 15 at most, not 47.
47. Like there was one episode she changed 7 times. Like,
7?
Yes, like 7, all 7 scenes she's in that episode, she's in a different outfit.
Did you class nude Ruby as an outfit there? After she's burnt alive, but there's 48.
48. But like there was so much, like you bring Ruby to game and she was like a cash cow. Like, oh, I'd be like, oh shit, do I need her at the wedding with the veil on as a wake? Well, probably not, but I'll buy it. Yeah. Do I need her as a school guidance counselor? Probably not. I'll buy it. Do I need her with her driving gloves outfit? No, probably not, but I'll buy it. Do I need her in the white? Oh, I need the white outfit with the blonde hair.
You need the white outfit.
Right. Like it would just been like so easy and be like, all right, here comes our monthly S stop or bi-weekly S stop or ASYMR, excuse me, are bringing out their skins. And like I said, they didn't have to do weekly changes, like bi-weekly or monthly to be like, oh, a new Ruby skin. Oh, finally, David with his hoodie on. I can get out of this stupid jean jacket outfit. Yes, let's go.
Yeah, like, his leather jacket outfit was like one of the best parts of Evil Dead 2013. Never brought it to the game.
And like there was so much they could have done.
I know.
And just easy money. And they just
why were they so scared though?
Well, because here's the thing, like I said, it's expectations. Like Dead by Daylight puts out skins all the time. They just dropped a brand new set today. You know why? Because they take that money, pay their developers to get ready for the next thing, or to buy the next license, or to do whatever. So like Dead by Daylight came out this year and said, we're dropping basically tons of licenses. We're kicking it off with Nicolas Cage as a survivor. Then we're bringing a full Alien chapter, and we're gonna have another licensed killer next in about 2 months. And
is the next one going to be licensed as well? Is it?
Yes, it's a licensed killer solo chapter, which everyone's thinking is going to be Five Nights at Freddy's because the reason is because I think it's gonna be Predator because they're kind of hinting at that. But like either war,
don't you already have Predator in that game?
Well, we have Skull Merchant, but what I'm saying is they know what they're doing. They know how to allocate that funds, that behavior to be like, we're using this money to pay for licenses that we want to bring in. We're using this money to pay our developers to either rework a character, or update a character, update a map, create a new map. And people know that when I buy, my RXLs to go get whatever skin or buy the Rift to get skins, that money is going to be dumped right back into the game in some fashion.
Yeah.
And they didn't want that kind of commitment because they already knew they were grifting. Like they already knew they were just pulling the long con for a year. And if you're just producing a ton of skins and suddenly there's no content other than just skins people are going to be like, where did our money go? They're going to be like,
I'd rather
The Quiet Place.
Yeah, exactly. I'd rather that fucking, I'd rather we had that. And
I mean, I get it.
Nothing than what we got. It's just we had zilch.
We did. I mean, it literally 4 updates in season 1 brought content, and then you had the 2 in season 2. Season 1.5, whatever we want to call it.
Do you think it's a different mindset at Saber to Behavior though? Whereas Behavior was such a small studio, and they struck gold with Dead by Daylight, and they're like, we can't let this game die. We gotta be overloading and doing a cycle of getting revenue, as you say, getting a new chapter. Where Saber is in a different mindset, where they're like, right, well, we get these IP games. World War Z made a shit ton of money. They still update that, to be fair to them. And
it has horde mode, by the way, in case you were wondering.
Yeah, it does. It even has 2 horde modes, because it's a horde mode XL now as well.
They got a new map, yeah.
Yeah, and then Saber's just got a totally different mindset, where they're like, well, Evil Dead the game, probably is gonna be a bit rudimentary, a lower player base, probably won't make much money on it, so they didn't plan to make much money on it, but they actually did by accident, and they did better than they anticipated. But they were like, well, we're just going to use that money and we're going to go fund Space Marine 2 or some shit like that, or as you say, a Quiet Place.
Warhammer, Quiet Place, get that John Carpenter license that they just locked down.
So it's like they're being cocky, basically. They're
I think they don't understand what they had. And I think that's the biggest problem, is we came in as players. Like, I know you're not a fan of Dead by Daylight anymore, but you played a lot of hours.
Oh yeah.
Like
4,500.
And you play a lot of hours at TCM. You know, we for you and I don't even want to fathom the amount of hours we've dropped in ASYMS.
I'm going to say it now. I'm tired of this genre. Like I
get it.
I enjoy TCM. Don't get me wrong. It's just I'm so tired of these games coming and going.
Well,
and then Dead by Daylight's just the default of ASYMS. It's like, I don't want it to be. I mean, obviously you probably still a fan of DBD, and that's
so I have
totally
a
fine.
Relationship with DBD. Like, I like the fact that I can dress up all my characters in any way I want. But like, sometimes I enjoy DBD and other times I don't. Now I will say I'm a huge Nicolas Cage fan. Like, just absolutely adore. And now that he's my main survivor, it does make it easier to play.
What's your favorite Nick Cage movie?
Are
you a huge Nicolas Cage fan? We need his favorite movie.
I'm gonna go with The Rock, but I could run a laundry list of like Nicolas Cage movies I absolutely adore.
Gotta ask me mine.
Go ahead. What's yours?
Willy's Wonderland.
Oh, Willy's is great. Like, that's the best version.
It's a guilty pleasure
of Five Nights.
It's a guilty pleasure movie of mine.
Oh yeah, the dance scene.
Oh, it's so good. I'm not a Nicolas Cage fan. To be fair, being serious though, Ghost Rider, I fucking loved him as Ghost Rider. I thought he was really good.
Ghost Rider's great.
Yeah.
Con Air is fantastic. Like, there's a lot of really good Nick Cage films.
Yeah.
But like, they decided to, when they did Nick Cage, they gave him like 100 voice lines in game, out of game, in lobby, during Maury's. Like, the dude can talk while he's being Maury'd. Like, and he's just so fun to play that you kind of feel like you're actually hanging out with Nick Cage. And it's what they could have done with Ash. Like, you could have called Bruce and be like,
well,
Bruce,
you feel like he's sort of talking to you as you're playing the game, like that type of experience.
Yeah, it feels like a buddy cop film at that point. Like, all right, me and Nick Cage going in versus the entity.
Yeah, exactly.
And they could have easily called Bruce and been like, hey, we need you to come into the booth sometime. What's your schedule look like? And record just 100 lines that we can put on the Ashes.
Yeah.
Because like, Nick Cage just went to Gamescom and said, listen, I just told them anytime they need me, I could just record something at a local studio and send it to them.
Yeah.
Like, that's commitment. That is what behavior has. It's a fire for their game. Whether their game is shit or not is a whole different story.
It is.
But like, Matthew Cote and behavior love making an ASYM that is live service. Yeah. Tim had no idea how live service worked. And you could tell every time he got asked a question about it that this wasn't what he was built on. The dude's 112 years old and he's thinking about games like when he was working on Frogger.
That's what I keep saying to people. I'm like, this dude still thinks doing magazine interviews is fucking popular thing to do and something to brag about. Like, he's living in this fucking, I don't know, the prehistoric age of gaming still.
And didn't adjust.
No.
Like, that was the problem. Is there's and I said this in a video well before the game came out, when I think it was when we first found out there was not going to be an SMart, which was like a week before the game dropped. We found out there was no SMart, and I said,
like
this
the map,
this
like a map SMart.
No, like a cosmetic store.
Oh, cosmetic store, right? Okay.
And I said, this is the problem when you come at a game with a 1995 mentality in 2021 or two, whatever it was at the time.
Yeah.
I guess 2022. You're going to handcuff
They'll be
the
giving
game.
this game an extra year than it deserves.
Yeah, that's my fault. I've been covering the game way too long. When you come at the game with a 1995 mentality and it's 2022, you're gonna handcuff the game's production value, and it absolutely did. But we could tell that's clearly what they wanted, because they weren't looking at this as a game that was going to make it over 11 months.
Yeah, and did you feel like anyone that made this game had passion behind it?
No.
What about people like? I mean, what about the people who actually worked on it? You know, like the coders, the animators, the people doing the web.
We didn't hear from them. I didn't hear from. I didn't talk to anyone who worked on the game personally. Every time I got information, it was from another game, because of how they handle their internal sourcing. And like, he was very passionate about his game, so I assume the coders or that actually made the game were probably very passionate about it, because they take a high quality of like, this is my work. I love pouring myself into my work. The problem isn't I don't think the problem was the developers. I think the problem was the head of the beast was the problem, and he's just thinking about. And I think another big problem that we haven't talked about was probably Embracer.
Oh yeah.
Because I feel like they may have had a little extra life and maybe pushed out one final chapter if Embracer didn't get so boned on that like $1 billion Saudi deal.
I don't think that would have mattered as much as I would have loved to. Loved for seeing it. It's like they took the game away from people who were capable of doing that. And give it people who are incapable, wouldn't they?
I heard the Embracer deal affected everything, like all the way down. So like, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt on that one thing. Like, maybe they did have one last thing planned, because I had heard they had gotten money from Warner Brothers to do Evil Dead Rise content.
All right.
And I heard they got messed up when Warner Brothers decided to shift it to the April release.
Yeah, that could explain the botched Halloween update we got. Yeah,
so what I had heard, and we'll spill this tea, because I've already said about this in my stream before, so it's nothing new. I had heard that when I had seen the initial construction of season one was the skin pack, and then of course it was Hail to the King. Everything was fine there, and then it was supposed to be Evil Dead Rise dropping in the end of September.
Yeah.
To coincide with the October 9th release on Max. So basically they dropped it, had Evil Dead Rise, they had one survivor, one survivor and one demon. Yeah. And then Evil Dead 2013 was supposed to close out at Christmas time with Mia, David, and Abomination. That's what I had saw was the original schedule.
That sort of lines up with what I heard as well, because what I heard,
the original schedule. Mm-hmm.
The developer, you said, I've got all the DLC made up to Evil Dead 2013, and that was before Castle Kandar come out as well.
Yeah,
so they already had all that made.
And I think they had to like swerve when they found out that Warner Brothers had said, "Hey, we can't drop, Beth and Ellie a year before 9 months before it comes out." And that was during the time when it would have all been done by Madrid. So everything was fine then. So and then they moved the movie back till, April. And at that point they probably swerved and moved up they swerved and moved up 2013 and dropped the demon. And what they also did was, I heard that Plaguebringer was supposed to drop with Kandar. And they probably pushed her back to align for the fact that A-Bomb wasn't ready, because she was supposed to come out at the end of the year.
It makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it really does.
So that's why everything lines up so goofy. Like the first, So and then that was that's what I had heard was the original, and I heard like basically when Warner Brothers and Warner Brothers and Discovery merged, it kind of fucked up that entire timeline, because they pulled the movie off from coming from Max in October and pushed it back to a theatrical release in April. And at that point, I think they were just scrambling to get stuff out at that time, and I think that's where Blacksmith probably was supposed to be part of like season 2. They just were like, well, fuck it, we'll get them out now because we have to deliver something because people are going to lose their mind if the only thing in this battle and the only thing in this season 1 was just Mia and David
that
and
final
a free demon and
DLC just left a sour taste in my mouth though. It was a blacksmith, and then what was it? It was the Halloween outfit for Ash, like the My Name is Bruce outfit.
Yep.
And a couple of random outfits for Henry. Henry got 2 outfits in that update, actually. And then Lord Arthur got an outfit. And I was like, what the hell is going on right now? Why is this Army of Darkness the game?
So it wasn't supposed to be. Like even when... So there was a time where Andy Campbell slipped. And he basically said, what you expect in season 1 was the exact same thing that I had seen.
Yeah.
And I think what happened is they made like a mock Army of Darkness chapter to accommodate for the fact that things were so screwed up. And then they were just like, we're going to pull it from Madrid anyway. So we'll just drop this shit and move it over to US. And we'll just finish off what they were working for season 2. And we're just not going to go back and do A-Bomb. There's no reason to worry about that. Just leave her undone. We're not going to go back and do other things because we're not going to go do Evil Dead Rise content because we don't want to work on the game anymore. Like, so that's kind of what I had heard.
Absolute amateur hour, though.
Oh, absolutely. I've called him that a bajillion times. Like it's Noob City over there.
It's terrible. I think we touched on this a bit earlier in the podcast, but do you think Saber weren't expecting the game to be that popular? Like 500,000 units sold in the first 5 days, 125,000 viewers on Twitch on the launch day. That's how big the game got on launch. And do you think that was just swam out of their depth?
I think they looked at it and they said we can go 1, 2. I think at that point they were still at like a crossroads where they're like, we can do 1 of 2 things. We can go to the license holders and opt in for more shit because I'm sure they had an option for that.
I feel like they didn't fucking discuss anything with the license holders after the game came out.
And that's what happened. Option 2, they just said, go on, take the money and run.
Yeah. Like, I feel like they had initial agreements with the license holders before the game come out. Oh, yes, you can add that skin. You can add that character. You can make Plaguebringer. You can do all this. And that was it. And they just worked on what they were allowed to work on. I don't think there was any fucking ongoing discussion after launch about anything that was going on in the game. That's atrocious. It really is. But yeah, I worked it out on my stream the other day, and it's a rough estimate, but $25 million at launch for this game for an Evil Dead game. That just over 25 million. That's including collector's edition prices.
Sounds right.
Yeah. And that's just been squandered, not reinvested into the game. Obviously, you've got to pay.
You got to remember.
You've got to pay the voice talent and stuff as well, which is understandable.
They also got paid twice by Epic.
Yeah.
One for exclusivity, and second time to put it every time a game goes on Epic Game of the Week, they get paid too. And then they got paid again.
I would have just assumed when they made the initial deal with Epic that it might have included a free week at some point.
Maybe, but usually that's what happens.
Either way, they probably got the same amount of cash.
Because look at this. Do you know that Ghostbusters Spirit Unleashed has never been a game of the week on Epic? And they're going to have their 1-year anniversary on October the 17th.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Did they release first on Epic, or they were on?
It's exclusively on Epic.
It's exclusive on Epic. Oh, okay. I thought it was on Steam as well.
They even use Epic as their crossplay on console. Like you have to log into your Epic account to link crossplay with friends.
Oh, right.
For Ghostbusters.
All right. I didn't get that far. Yeah. I never got that far in the game.
It's a sneaky good game. I actually really enjoy it, and you know they're gonna actually.
It does look a bit of fun,
thing.
but people kept telling me like, oh, the game's over in like 2 minutes, and I'm like, oh, so I don't want to be any of that. Here's the thing.
What you need to go into with the mentality with Spirits Unleashed is it's a true party game. Like you go in with a group of friends, play 3 or 4 matches over like 45 minutes and have a blast, blow shit up with your proton packs, catch some ghosts, get slimed, haunt shit. But here's the thing, So they're gonna do this weird thing. Next month is their 1-year anniversary, and they're gonna celebrate it with not only a new content drop that's going to expand their single player component.
You're wrong. They're going to celebrate it by dropping a JPEG on Twitter.
And the Switch version is actually coming out.
And the Switch version's coming out. Oh my god.
Yeah, so it's like the exact opposite of like what Evil Dead did.
What fucking reality are we living in right now where Ghostbusters game is surviving, getting better development, and doing way better than an Evil Dead game?
And they're working on Killer Clowns at the same time, and they're still supporting the game.
Yeah. But I don't understand. I don't like Ilphonic. I played Predator Hunting Grounds when it come out, and I was like,
we don't talk about Predator Hunting Grounds. We don't talk about Predator Hunting Grounds. We just pretend that game never existed.
I played the beta for that, and I was just like, nah, this feels like PlayStation 2 levels of gameplay, and I don't want anything to do with it.
But we like Friday, right? We like, everyone loves Friday.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, I played a couple of games on Friday, and it was on Xbox. Games with gold, I think. But this was just before the servers got shut down and went on Games with Gold. Again, probably a last-ditch effort to get some money there by the sounds of it.
Well, they didn't. By that time, both Ilphonic and Gun were gone. They sold the property. Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. I didn't follow anything with Friday.
We already knew the lawsuit was going, like the lawsuit, they'd already received their cease and desist, and the company was like, we want to buy and keep the game running. Like it's still going. Yeah. Like servers are live until I think December 31st of 2024.
It's only peer-to-peer servers though, right?
Right. Well, yeah. it you can still play on the. I think the servers get officially shut down, but there's no crossplay. So like if you're on Xbox, you can't play with. Like I had like when I did my pre-order, it was on PlayStation 5 because I played a lot more. On PlayStation 4 because I played a lot more on PlayStation the previous generation, and now I play a lot more on Xbox, which is funny because now like I've
moved up in the world there.
Yeah. And it's funny because I have a very heavy Xbox community. So like all of them have Friday, but they have it on Xbox, they have it on PC, and I'm like, there's no crossplay, so there's no allure to go back and play it. But I love Friday, and I think Gun and Ilphonic, other than the first month, which was an absolute clusterfuck, did a pretty good job overall with what they could with that game. Like I like Ilphonic personally. I've enjoyed Ghostbusters for the full year. They've done 4 content drops. They've all been free.
Have they?
Yeah.
Wait, so you don't even buy the new ghosts or anything?
No. What? All the DLC's been free. They've had Twitch drops. They've brought tons of new cosmetics to the game, like way more than Evil Dead ever did.
What the fuck?
Like you can unlock all the real Ghostbusters. You can unlock all the female Ghostbusters movie stuff. Like you can go to town on that game. Like. And it was all basically once you paid your $40, or in my case, thank you, Ilphonic, for the copy of this review copy of the game. You could basically get everything for free. Even now, the latest drop on October 19th is for free. Like,
I might have to check this game out.
It's
a lot
of
free
fun.
content.
Yeah, like. You can like I have like my character now. She looks like Janine from the real Ghostbusters. She's having a blast, living her best life. You create your own Ghostbuster. There's a lot of stuff you can unlock. There's different ghost skins you can unlock. Like they've done a really good job.
Almost everything we should have been seeing in Evil Dead.
It is.
I mean,
and I've made this comparison a lot.
Yeah, don't even need to drop the free content there because we would have happily fucking paid it. We would have paid for that.
They've dropped absolute fire palette swaps as Twitch drops. Like they're just palette swaps, but they make your characters look really freaking cool. Yeah. And people would have loved that shit. Like, say for example, you just got like a Twitch drop.
That's getting into the fucking Arkham fucking hell. The Asylum Ash skin that come out on DVD before it come out on Evil Dead, and it had a recolor.
It was better. And it was better.
And it was better.
It talks. Ashy Slashy talks.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not a butt charm.
That's that. I mean, you probably heard me talk about it at some point about adding charms to Evil Dead the game when they were they already existed. You had Ashy Slashy there, Linda's head from the first mission. Just imagine her, and we go back to when you were saying about how Nick Cage talks to you and like while you're playing Dead by Daylight. How funny would it have been playing Evil Dead, and whatever charm you had on was just talking shit to you as you played it. Like they possess
little Lori.
Yeah, a possessed little
Lori
Lori
saying
doll.
how much she hates you.
Yeah. Have a little Eli just hanging off your ass. Just all that. Linda's head having to go at you. Ashy Slashy. Like, I think the potential behind all of that, putting that into battle passes and shit, weapon skins.
Oh, yeah.
No new finishers ever got added to the game, apart from with the new weapons as well, which is massively disappointing.
Everyone was asking for screamers.
No. No. See, when they put screamers in the game, it was actually exciting for me, because the first thing I said was, this is battle pass content. This is something we're going to be getting later down the line, hopefully. I was like, oh, maybe it's
prestige content.
Yeah.
Who the fuck Prestige is a character? You get a screamer you can't see.
No. I mean, I love some of the designs on them. They look fucking hilarious, especially the Army of Darkness Ash ones. But like, it's something you earn from a battle pass on a free track, not anything you'd spend hours or months fucking playing one character to get hold of.
They made a mistake with the prestige system on one major thing, and this is what really, really killed the game, in my opinion. When they added actual tree points to levels, it made it so hard to start the game if you weren't a day one player.
Yeah, and that's what I said as well. That's ultimately what could have killed this game.
Like, if you're a level 3 Ash, like literal level 3, like not prestige 2 level 3, but like a level 3 Ash, you're going out there and you're playing your second game and you run into a P5 ball, you're gonna get your ass stomped and say, this game isn't fun, I don't want to play it.
Yeah, and I sat there for hours on my stream sometimes just ranting about the prestige system and saying, this needs fucking taken out of the game. And I don't care if I've got prestige 5 Ashes as I say that. Take them away from me. I don't know, just kill the prestige system, bring it back with a cosmetic based or something later down the line for the people who already have characters prestige, just to make up for their time that they spent. But just take this shit away, because I knew it was, and I called it when the prestige system dropped. I went, this is gonna fuck up the balancing so bad.
And they could barely handle it before that.
It come out just before it went out. It come out just before it went free to play on Epic. And I was like, you've got the prestige system in there. People have already dumped a shit ton of spirit points in there. So people already have characters prestige. And then new people are coming into the game and they're going up against people who are prestige 3 or 4 already. Got all them extra skill points. And they're just going to look at that. They're going to look at how they've got to get there. How many hours they've got to achieve that to get on their level. To not feel handicapped anymore. And they're just going to go, fuck this. Like, why would I bother doing that?
I did a video when it dropped on PlayStation Plus. I bought the game for free on PlayStation Plus, and I went out as Sash in a match, as a level 1 Sash, with just logged into a rando PlayStation or rando account or not account lobby, and we did I went solo queue as Ash, and I noticed that a lot of some of the other players were I think only one character was prestige of the 4 of us. And we got like a P3 Elegos, and that team I was the last one standing, but that was just from hours and hours of skill and understanding how to play, as a healer, as a character in general. Like the other one's just getting murdered over and over and over. And like the videos, like, what's it like to be a level 1 character on PlayStation right now? And like, it was terrible. Like, I didn't have any fun because I spent most of the time just picking up people that were being relentlessly murdered by the Elegos, which he was, and no offense to the Elegos player, because like he was just doing his job.
Yeah.
But like it's the problem is when you make that kind of dichotomy inside of your own player base, it makes it really hard. And they had a legend MMR, but like, I'll be honest, they brought
that MMR out, didn't they? Like just after the prestige come out, because there was a lot of complaints, and they were quick to address that, to be honest. And they were like, oh yeah, we've just put on our new matchmaking. It'll take about a week to figure itself out, because you had to get people's skill levels determined and stuff. And then that just murdered the queue times. And then I think that even contributed to people even like, why are we waiting 15 minutes for a game here?
Right. You could like hop on Demon and be in like 30 seconds.
It wasn't just that though. Even for me back then, when they had that MMR system, I was still waiting like 5-10 minutes for a game on Demon. 10 minutes maximum, by the way, was probably the longest I waited. Survivor was 15, but average like 6-7 minutes on Demon. Average on Survivor was about 10 back then, and it was terrible.
Back then, we used to run like a counter. We called it the queue clock on our streams, and we would start it the moment we would queue into a lobby, like the start. And like there was times where it'd be like, "Oh, today's average was 11 minutes and 13 seconds."
Oh God.
It was so terrible.
Was it that
We're
bad?
like, oh.
I mean, I used to just talk to the chat when it was going on, but
we would just laugh about it.
Sometimes I would just look over my other monitor where the game's running, searching for a game, and like my Xbox would go in screensaver mode.
Yeah,
like,
it would just go dark. You're like, wake up, buddy. I believe in you.
Yeah. But it's just that the build-up of that stuff accumulated over the year of the game, I would say, life cycle, because let's be honest, the game was dead after a year. It only lasted a year in general. And it was just that was decision making, bringing the Prestige out, then Splatter Royale coming out just before PlayStation Plus, I think it was. Is that right?
Yeah.
Did Ruby come out before the PlayStation Plus? So
I think so.
That was another poor decision, because they made that the first game mode you see when you hit play. And I don't know about you, but if you didn't know anything about the game, you're gonna play the first game mode when you hit play, right? You're gonna be like, play. Oh, Splatter Royale, is that the main game mode? Usually the first one's the main game mode. I'll check it out, and you're just sitting in a lobby or queuing for half an hour and just being like, what the fuck is going on here? You're just gonna you're not paying attention to the socials. You're not paying attention to a streamer or anything, or what the hell is Splatter Royale. You're just going to uninstall the game. Again, that's the same thing that happened on Epic with the Prestige system, and that's ultimately why those over 3 million players left the fucking game.
You bring out a game like Splatter Royale, and even Splatter Royale wasn't really everyone starting on the same foot, because you could bring your spirit points in from the ASYM to level up. Like, that was a terrible decision. Like, it should have been a completely different currency.
Them skill trees were so bad. It was like plus, what was it, 2.5% damage for minus 2.5% health. Like, things
I did
like
way too much math. Way too much math. I'm like, all right, if I get headshots, it's gonna cost me what, -3 dick shots? Do I want to give that up? Like, I really do enjoy shooting people in the crotch. Like, I'm not sure I want to take that trade off. Like, it was just terrible.
Yeah,
like, the whole skill trees were awful.
I did one build video for it, and I was like, this was atrocious. I'm never touching that again. I never went back.
Like 10 games period. Like, I remember one time I was trying to argue with someone, and I was like, all right, my mother had my son, and I just spent the entire morning queued in to Splatter Royale, and I ended up doing this video called Splatter Royale is Dead, and it was basically my adventure for like an hour and 30 minutes trying to log into one
because when it launched, the servers were dead for it, weren't they? Like, the lobbies would like, they would get killed if one person left out of those like 39 people or something.
So I dropped that video on March 27th. That's not even 60 days, because it came out on February 8th with Ruby.
Yeah.
So by like a month and a half later, they had already dropped it to 10 people queues, and I couldn't get a game for an hour and a half. Like, that is such an epic waste of time and money on stuff they could.
So many like news places, like news sites, gaming news, Twitter and all that. So many of those people put so many articles out there, like highlighting, well, Evil Dead is the first, horror ASYM with Battle Royale attached to it or something. Like, it seemed like Saber paid a bit of money to market that shit, and nobody cared.
You can tell this was like Tim's brainchild. He was like, I got this franchise I have to do, but what if I made it Fortnite?
It sounds like something Cliff Blazinski would have done from Gears of War, where he feels like he needs to innovate the gaming scene. He needs to invent something brand new.
The thing about Fortnite is people enjoy the fact that you can be like whatever in Fortnite.
Yeah.
Like when I go play Fortnite as Ash Williams, the guy from Fortnite,
The popular guy from Fortnite
Yeah, Ashley J.
with that
Williams from Fortnite.
chainsaw pickaxe.
Like, but I can do that. Like, that's the thing. Like, they couldn't even get Elagos into it.
No.
I was like, can I just go be Elagos? Oh no, he apparently didn't make the cut.
No. Oh man. I mean, I wanted to be so angry today and just expose Saber for what they are. And I hope a lot of people seeing what they really are and decide to just never play a Saber game again because of just how much we were fucking conned on Evil Dead the game. Like, I'm sorry anyone who bought the collector's edition, including myself. People who got a profile level 1000, you were just fucking conned from the start of the game. Because it was their plan all along to just take that Evil Dead money and go and reinvest it in somewhere else. And sadly, that's been the case. And are you still going to be doing Evil Dead stuff? Just a question.
I'm not making any more videos.
No making videos. Same as me then.
Every once in a while, I might decide to play some matches with people, knowing there's literally like zero benefit. But sometimes it's still fun to play.
Yeah, like I played with you the other day, getting some B-roll. It was an interesting experience from my end of things.
yeah. I literally there was one part where I went to heal you and you flew away, and I'm like, I'm not sure if he's in range.
No, I don't think my fucking server was in range. I don't know what the hell was going on. I was just so laggy, man.
I think the only video I'll ever do about Evil Dead the game again will be, which I'm hearing is probably going to be about 6 months from now, will be when they're like, guess what?
Servers
you know how we said this? Yep. I'll be like, all right, this is the very end. The servers are going down. You basically can play missions in the walkabout. That's about it.
Exploration mode.
Yep. That's all you got left.
The true and only horde mode of Evil Dead the game is the exploration mode.
But other than that, I mean, I've always been a variety content creator. I'm
jealous.
I loved making.
I'm jealous.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I did DVD for so long. I did DVD for 2 years, and I had probably average 20 viewers on a fucking chapter day. Though I got over 3,000 people watching at once, and I was shitting myself. I got so many subscribers from that. They never returned. And I was like, this is so fucking weird. Like, getting so many viewers one day and then just going back to your average of 20. And it's just the ASYM in like community in general for me just felt so weird. But then Evil Dead got announced and I was like, fuck, I don't give a shit. I am going all in on this game. I'm going to be the first one to do this. I'm going to be the first one to do, beta breakdowns for all the character classes, which I did all that. I did the first ever fucking leader Ash build, like best build for him and all that. Like, I wanted to be that guy, and I went so fucking hard to make that happen.
And you did a great job.
And then thanks. And then it got taken away from me. And it got taken away from you. All the hard work. It got taken away from us.
Like, I looked on Steam today for TCM numbers, and I think like there was about 3,300 people playing, which is still good.
Oh yeah, that's
Steam.
good. Yeah.
That's solid numbers for a smaller game, because I don't consider it a big title. But like, I remember when I looked 2 weeks ago, it was like 17,000 people on Steam were playing around the same time. Like, I kept it like they were both around noon Eastern Standard Time. So I kind of like
Evil Dead. It's got 6 people playing it on Steam.
Oh, is it 6? Is that what it is right now? I looked the other day. It was like 12. Yeah, it was probably like.
I've got someone in my chat. He loves coming in. He's like, "Oh yeah, Evil Dead Steam play count of the day, 6." And I'm like, Jesus.
I haven't looked since they said, by the way, Steam people, go fuck yourself. We really didn't have anything planned. Thanks for buying our game.
Oh yeah, just think they made that 25 mil at launch, and then they made all that Game of the Year edition money as well. Yep. They're just like, yeah, thanks to that extra $1 million, $2 million in cash right there, we're about to put this into fucking the Knights of the Republic remake.
Oh god, is that still being worked on? Do we know?
By Saber.
I haven't heard anything since that was announced at PlayStation.
Yeah,
at that Sony PlayStation panel.
Oh my god, dude. So it was being made by Aspire Media, who
I
are
remember that.
who are a subsidiary of Saber,
Okay.
and they were like something that they showcased some gameplay to the directors somewhere, and they were like, "Oh, we don't like that. We don't like what you've done
God.
so far, and you aren't on schedule. You aren't hitting the target here." And like a couple of people got fired there, so a lot of shit went on that. And then guess what? Saber steps in and takes the reins of the game as well. So
well,
now,
you got to get that money.
Yeah, so now Saber is leading the remake for Knights of the
Oh,
Republic.
that's a shame. I guess I won't be playing KOTOR then.
I know. I'll just like whatever. I'll go play it on the Switch. It's like the best version of the game right now. So fun on the Switch, man. Honestly, I fucking love it.
It's the thing. Like I remember about 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago, I was offered a copy of Wild Card Football. I was like, nope, hard pass. Like, and it looks fun, but I'm like, I'm not playing that.
I feel like I've been blacklisted because I used to get all these code emails. And I think I made a video that really fucking gaslit Saber, and I feel like I'm just on a blacklist at the moment.
I mean, did you make a video called Saber is gaslighting the Evil Dead community? Because
No.
I did that.
Oh well, it's definitely not as bad as me then. I had a thumbnail of Tim Willits as Thanos. You know how the so the story behind that with me and Glory, we were like on the podcast and we were like, oh wait, there were 6 DLCs for Evil Dead the game and there's 6 Infinity Stones. Seems about right.
That's funny.
I suppose I'm going to make this our last topic here for the game. And I will just say this right now for everyone watching. This is my final Evil Dead video. I don't plan to do any more content for this game. It's physically and mentally impossible, to be honest. I can't stream the game anymore either, because every time I play it, it just makes me upset, to be honest. I'm playing it and I'm just like, I fucking love this game, but then it's just not getting steered in the right direction at all. And I can't do it. I can't do it anymore, man.
I get it.
Nah, it's sad because, like I said, it's my community has felt just so kind of. They're in sort of they're in the recovery phase of Evil Dead being taken down and taken away from them, and watching their daily content creator taken away from them from that game as well. And it's, you know, it's trying to breathe some life back into the channel around Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is a big task in itself because of how that game's going right now, and having no sort of content roadmap or anything is a big letdown. And it's another game that doesn't have a marketplace, unfortunately, which is,
I mean, you can always play Ash Williams from Call of Duty.
Yeah, that's my next Evil Dead content, Ash and Call of Duty. No, I mean, I've got OG Crystal Xbox there, and I bought Fistful of Boomstick. So
it's a good game.
Yeah, I'm planning to do a stream of that relatively soon. But I think for my last topic that I want to talk about, and probably is just to send off the podcast, was what was the one thing that Evil Dead needed to survive. And don't say better developers.
No, I mean,
don't say better developers.
I've gone in this ad nauseum. The thing they needed was a steady income stream.
Yeah.
And like they had so many opportunities.
I love that you never said anything about balancing.
No,
because there was so many people that were like, this game's dead because Demon's too OP. This game's dead because survivors are taking a shit on my face with Henry the Red. And that stuff used to really annoy me because I was just like, it's not that deep.
I'll make a quick spot on balance since you opened that can of worms. This is your fault. That game, other than the first like week where demons could just basically just destroy you in like 12 seconds. And we all remember that. And then Xbox people had a little bit extra time with that during, because we got stuck there for the extra 2 weeks.
Oh, dude, yeah, the fucking Elagos animation cancel with Thunderstruck.
Yep.
Every game. Yeah.
And PlayStation and Epic got the update, and we didn't get it for like 2 weeks. So we had that for an extra 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But like other than that period of the game's heavily survivor sided. It is, and I'm okay with that.
I think it's meant to be though.
The book is not.
Yeah.
So like the book is very heavily demon sided. So basically they set it up that it all sets up for this final showdown. So I understand what they're trying to do there. And I don't think that was the problem at all. I think it was the fact that they, one, didn't want to do live service, truly live service. They kind of like dipped their toe in and were like, that water's a little cold. We don't think that's going to do it.
Why lie to us about saying like, we can do balancing on the fly because the health, the damage, everything is on our backend server. So real time, we can adjust numbers and alter things.
That's not a lie. They actually can do that. They do that with.
Yeah, but I'm saying they never
all the time.
They never did that in this game. What were they doing?
Because that's a lot of work. It's like maps, buddy. Like it's hard. Work. They're not.
Ooh,
like
that's been a good response. That's been a good response.
It was the only game I've ever covered that would drop patch notes and then 3 days later drop full patch notes. I would have to do a second patch notes video because you find
the hidden stuff in there.
It was like fucking Where's Waldo? Okay, well we found out that this person actually was shadow nerfed.
It's not Where's Waldo. It's Where's Willits.
Yeah, and like we'd be like, oh well, this doesn't work, and this doesn't work, and this is clearly nerfed, and we'd do all the math on it, and we'd talk about it on the live stream, and then next thing you know, 3 days later, they'd be like, and here's 7 other pages of stuff we did, and I'd be like, just say you did it, like that's okay.
Not to mention, not to mention the first patch notes didn't drop for like 3 or 4 hours after the patch had already came out as well.
I mean, we didn't get the patch anyway, so it didn't fucking matter.
Yeah, we didn't get it on Xbox.
But for me, like it's a revenue stream. Like I feel like they were really committed to, there was an absolute. I actually had people that left this game not because the game wasn't good, not because the balance wasn't good. It was because they were so tired of looking at Pablo, and they were a Pablo main with his one skin. They just couldn't do it anymore.
Oh, that's another can of worms. Fish and chips outfit.
That's not fish and chips.
No.
I refuse to call it that. Blow is not a fish and chips outfit.
It's literally the Jacksonville outfit, but they were like, here's your Pablo's fish and chips. Just keep asking for. It's like, what?
Yeah, that is a completely different outfit from a different season. But I had people in my community stop playing the game because they couldn't play dress up, and like that is one of the things that like we were talking about when I was talking about with behavior. Like they know that is part of the ASYM world. They understand that. Like even Gun to a degree knew that. They brought like 7 skins for all the survivors right out of the bat, so you could at least do color swaps and stuff like that, because people like to make their character that they're spending that much time with in a live service game look different, because there's nothing worse than looking at the same butt of a character.
I think it's important to showcase your time in a game when you play it.
Absolutely.
Like with this game, I always said, Prestige 5. I mean, Dead by Daylight, was like Prestige 3. You get the bloody cosmetics. You could showcase your time and dedication to that character in a unique way. That being through a cosmetic, and that should have been the case with Evil Dead as well. You get a Prestige 5 with Leader Ash. He is, a bloody reskin, or you can play as Deadite version of Leader Ash as an actual survivor. Like there was so many potentials there with that.
I think some, not all, but some places misunderstand the amount of positive goes along with, because I think at first microtransactions got a really
bad rep.
Bad rep.
Yeah.
And so some companies want to white knight that we won't do any microtransactions. But let's be honest, I will be the first person to say I don't give a fuck about microtransactions. No. I really don't. Never have. Like as long as the microtransaction is something 100% cosmetic and it doesn't have any bearing on my actual play, like it's not like, I need to go get this super sniper rifle because I can shoot 100 meters more. Yeah. Okay, that's wrong. That should not be put in a loot box. It shouldn't be put into like something, where you need to get that pay to win. But if it's just like, oh, I now look like Ash Williams in Fortnite, like there's nothing wrong with, I don't care about that. Like if I want it, I'll buy it. Because if I'm putting the time in, I want to be able to be like, all right, I'm playing this game tonight. You know what? Maybe I want to change my skin 7 times. Maybe I'm just not feeling this look. Maybe I want to change to this different character. And I think that's one of the things they missed out on greatly and would have done very well is everyone I know in the community all were like, they would always ask me because I think I'm literally the only David main in Evil Dead the game. And they would ask me how I look at David match after match after match looking in that stupid jean outfit. And I'm like, well, that's all
So
he's got.
plain. So fucking
so
plain.
plain.
Yeah.
Like
There was no
I
way
don't
to
care if
even.
it was original stuff.
Yeah.
Like the original stuff they dropped for the first patch was fine. Like I'm
Yeah.
okay with that. Like you don't have to make everything from Evil Dead 2 or Army of Darkness
yeah.
or Ash versus Evil Dead. If you just wanted to bring like an original, like I wouldn't care if they were like, here's the 70s set where everyone's in bell bottoms and
Yeah.
blown out shirts and shit. Like, cool, all right.
They could have done
I
like
don't
a
like
whole Army of Darkness set for everyone in the game as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, and then you could just play your character and just be like, all right, this match I'm playing as zombie. I'm gonna play as zombie David. Okay, it's fun, whatever. Like, and those are the things that they missed out on.
I would have loved to see some Day of the Dead stuff in there as well.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, like the most, and they could have done crossovers with their own games. Like Saber has a lot of titles. And under their
I would have loved to see.
banner.
I mean, personally, on the World War Z side, I would have loved to see like Evil Dead characters brought into that some way.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that would have been fucking awesome.
Like there was so much stuff they could have done to cross promote this game because they just didn't realize.
But it doesn't make sense.
Right. We didn't do that when I made Frogger in 1982 on the Atari. Like that's correct. You did not. I
hated when I did my Battle Pass concept video. I put a lot of time passionate.
It was very good.
Yeah, and I was like,
I think
some
that's
of the
video
comments.
I actually subbed on your channel. Was that Battle Pass?
The Battle
one.
Pass turned you on then.
Yeah, it did.
So
it got me Randy.
So the comments I got from people was like, nah, with a full stop. Nah, they shouldn't add a Battle Pass. No, I don't want a Battle Pass in this game because I hate when games have Battle Passes and I can't get that content because I can't spend enough time playing the game or something along those lines. And I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, yeah, but there is people who put a shit ton of hours in a game, and you're not just the only one who, gets home from their job, sits there for about an hour or 2 hours playing the game on their Series S. You're in the minority there, people. It's like the majority of people want battle passes in games. They fucking work. Whether you like it or not, it's tried and tested. Look at Fortnite, look at Apex Legends, look at fucking Call of Duty Warzone, if they even do battle passes still.
Overwatch, they just dropped a new one today. Warzone just dropped this. They just dropped the brand new Spawn Battle Pass with all the Spawn skins.
All right, well, there you go.
It's pretty awesome.
And Ash is coming to that game as well. So
yeah, he comes on the 17th of October during the Haunting event.
So if you guys are missing Evil Dead the game,
when Call of Duty celebrates Halloween more than Evil Dead did.
Oh yeah, I mean that was me building up to this. While I was playing TCM, I was like, if there's no update for Evil Dead on Halloween, I'm done. I'm uninstalling. I'm gone for good. But Saber made that decision for me a lot earlier, and I can, just move forward with that. But I thought it was very sad just seeing people in that comment section before in my Battle Pass video just saying like, well, I won't have the time to do a Battle Pass, so no, Battle Passes won't be good in this game. It's like,
as I said earlier,
are you totally in denial of how video games work in terms of adding revenue streams and trying to keep stuff alive? And in order for you on your Series S, for your 2 hours of gameplay sessions to still keep playing the game years down the line, the fun servers.
Like the thing is, we have because you and I have pretty large Evil Dead communities. We have a lot of crossover where people would be like, "Oh, I was in Pixel Stream today," or and vice versa. Like, "Oh, Old Head said this. Did you hear that?" And there'd be times where people would come in. Like, I always kind of thought of you as the battle pass guy. Like I always gave you credit as being like the one who was kind of pushing that, and I agreed with you emphatically on it. And like I remember I had someone that would be in both of our chats, and they're like, yeah, I was like, yeah, Pixels is the battle pass guy, and they're like, and you're the ASYMR guy. I was like, I am the ASYMR guy. I've done like 400 videos on being why we need an ASYMR. Shop smart. Shop ASYMR.
It was the perfect opportunity. The perfect. You had S-Smart there. They didn't even have to do too much with it. No
branding needed.
You could have just
branding needed.
No, you literally could have just had the camera, had your like me and Glory said this, right? Say there's a mirror there, and you're inside S-Smart, your character's standing by a mirror, and it's in like this 3D view. And you know, you're trying on outfits, and then in the mirror, this like in the reflection, your character like has like a Deadite version, and they start talking shit to you while you're trying to purchase the fucking outfits. Like, oh man, that would have just been so fucking funny, and it would have just fit Evil Dead so much.
We had talked about having having Ted there, where he's like listening to Ash's story, where he's like trying to pick something out of his teeth. He's like,
yeah,
and just sitting there like telling you where you had to go to buy stuff, like weapon skins are over there, Remington's is where you're gonna get weapon skins, go over here, you get your actual skins. Like I was like, this would be the greatest thing, just have Ted Raimi like pointing people in places they need to go.
Exactly, like he could be the merchant of Evil Dead the game,
right?
Yeah.
Like even if you're not going to put him in the game because for some reason Chet wasn't big enough to make the game.
Sam,
I mean, he was never.
He needs to go talk to Sam, his brother.
He's never, blacksmith level of a character to make Evil Dead the game.
We all know that blacksmith was a highly requested character from the player base. That was
everyone.
Who was I quoting there? Was that Tim as well, or was that someone else on the interview with Tim? Was that Craig? No, it was that Craig Sherman guy, the writer.
It might have been Sherman.
Yeah, it was the writer that said that. The guy that wrote 10 missions, but we only got 8.
They're never gonna do another ASYM. I can guarantee you. Like Saber's never doing another one.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if they better prepare themselves, I mean, they've probably lost their reputation at this point. Like, Saber's making another ASYM? Nah, I'm not touching that. I don't care if it is anything or this IP.
And they proved to themselves they don't work because they had to close the game down in the year. See, like we already knew this.
Yeah,
we already knew this. We had to close this game down. See, we were right all along.
I mean, I was starting to get a little bit of hope back in July because Embracer Group started closing down studios. They were doing a whole company restructure. They fucking fired Cal. I mean, that was like one of the best things I ever seen around what happened with this game in a long time since like fucking Ball come out. And I was like, oh wow, this dude, I'm so glad that guy's gone. He'd go into apparently he would go into girl streamers chats and start promoting his own fucking live stream, being like, hey, I'm the community manager of Evil Dead. I stream on Twitch as well. Yeah, apparently he was doing all this kind of shit. Yeah.
That's skeevy.
Yeah, and really he was bragging about his trips to Japan and stuff, and I was like, "Oh my god, this fucking guy, man!" But it was like the best news.
That Cat's first community job, like that dude had no idea what the fuck he was doing.
No, he did not. He did not. And when he got fired, he was like, "Oh yeah, well, I'm really proud of what I did at Saber. I built a community team up from scratch and stuff like that." And I'm like, "What the fuck? How can you be proud of what you just did?" And people will defend him and say, well, maybe he couldn't talk due to NDAs and stuff like that. It's like, NDAs have nothing to do with being a good community manager. You can still interact with your community in other ways that don't necessarily have to do anything about announcing content. There's so many things you can talk about within the game and share stats to us. Not once did we ever, I would have loved to have seen that personally. When the game first come out, the first few weeks, be like, oh wow, you Deadite slayers out there, you've slayed X amount of Deadites so far. Just doing posts like that. It's just builds up little community engagement and it's more positive and shit like that. But they just never did that. And I always think people, the gaming now, they don't seem to have these people understanding what gamers want in terms of communication and in terms of what direction to take a game in. They don't do their research. Evil Dead, Saber should have been like, right, we're getting into an ASYM scene. They kept shitting on DVD, by the way, most of the interview. They kept being like, a snobby way, being like, oh, well, this is different because usually it's the whole hide and seek in ASYMs, but this one you actually fight back. And they were sort of saying their game was pretty much better than Dead by Daylight.
Well, they also said that like we won't have any premium currency in the game.
Yeah,
because we don't play dress up with our characters.
Yeah, exactly.
And like and that was a week before the game came out, and that's one of the moments where I was like, oh,
hang on a minute.
No,
yeah, but you gotta have been hyped when people got their early copies of the game and they were like, hey, look, he is fucking bodybuilder from hell, Evil Dead 2 Ash with his tank top and everything. And it's just absolutely bizarre. It's like there just wasn't people there doing the research of being like, what did Dead by Daylight do right? What did they do wrong? How can we avoid what they did wrong? And let's capitalize on what they did right. What they did right was rifts, challenges, skins, chapters, having a schedule flow of content coming, every 3 months, right?
People love the Dead by Daylight lore. Like, they've built a 7-year story that people get invested in, and people sometimes do the rift and the tomes just to find out what they're going to find out about these particular characters that they invested in.
Even with Evil Dead, they never had to expand into that at all, because everyone knew the lore of Evil Dead. Pretty much everyone sort of knew the lore of the game, being like, Nobi brought in all these characters because he tried to summon the chosen one, the hero from the sky, but instead he got all the people who like knew about him or who fought alongside him instead. And then eventually he did turn up, but you had that lore premise there to bring in fucking anybody you wanted from any type of universe, because that's just how they designed the Necronomicon. And then you even had all the original demons to come from. And, I talked about this a lot of times, having subclass demons. They never even branched into that. Having all these fucking demons in the game. You had Baal as a schemer, Plaguebringer, Elagos as a puppeteer, Henrietta as a warlord, and Evil Ash as a necromancer. It's like, you've got these classes for demon, but you've only got one demon in each class.
It was weird.
And I was like, why is there no sub-demons there? Why is Lem not a warlord? Why is Mr. Roper not a warlord? Why is Baal even a schemer? Why is he not in the puppeteer class? That type of thing.
Why did they hate hunters?
Hunters, yeah. Hunters just got fucking massacred in the end, really.
They're like, we're gonna nerf the fuck out of you and give you no one else. Have fun.
Yeah. But it's just, they never capitalized on what DBD did well, and that was always the daily challenges for me and the rifts. I mean, I have a personal fucking hatred for behavior now, so I just don't want to touch that game. I don't like them. I don't like the way they treat their players. For someone who played the game daily, it being like, you felt like you were just sort of take that's it. Anything you say, it doesn't matter, because that back then, and anyways, when it's like, here's your fucking trickster, here's your twins. Like this is when I used to cover the game, and I was like, what the fuck? What direction are we going in with this game, where we have trickster, a K-pop killer, then we got the twins as a chapter, and they started reworking the maps a bit as well. They had a few more reworks to go through, and I was just like, you know what? You're really stepping out with the horror scene here, and I dislike it. And I dislike the way you're handling the balancing, and I'm tired of this game getting update after update that doesn't get the quality testing. But, looking back on it now from what I was playing Evil Dead, I was like, you kind of spoiled a bit with those. As rudimentary and as problematic some of them updates were, at least they were doing something by putting content into the game.
They run PTBs for every chapter. At least they let people grind through and try to be like, this doesn't work. Like, they just recently were doing a complete rework on Pyramid Head, and they put that shit on the PTB, and Pyramid Head was the most broken monster who has ever existed. And they're like, whoa, we can't do that. No. Evil Dead would have been like, we just put that out, and they're like, oh shit, that's bad. Well, see you in 7 weeks when we do an update.
Baal, for example.
Or Ruby.
Yeah, Ruby as well. Yeah, Ruby, the most broken fucking thing ever to exist in Evil Dead.
Ruby's just like, here's Excalibur, guys. Have fun.
It was like the sword of 1,000 truths on South Park. Just like they have Ruby on a USB drive, just ready to plug her in, just give it to the player base.
Oh,
Yeah.
How do you kill that when it cannot die?
Very weird about that season pass when it first dropped, when the game launched, and everyone was coming to me in my chat on YouTube, and they kept asking me what was in the season pass, and I was just like, I don't fucking know. I don't even know how many DLCs is in here.
Well,
and the way we found out was the launch trailer for Evil Dead on YouTube. In the description was how we found out what was in that season pass,
right?
Which was 4 DLCs.
I dropped that season pass preview like day 2.
Yeah.
Like I had the season pass day 2, and I dropped that video of what to expect in, season pass 1. And like I said, the first 2 were dead on, and then like the other 2 were
that was
all
just,
over the place.
Yeah.
And like, but it was, I think like Saber probably saw that video like day 1, or like, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
He knows too much.
Yeah. I mean, I did the Saber leaks. I did the leaks that was happening with the Amanda outfit, which is, again, a big red flag that the Amanda outfit got leaked at launch and we didn't get it until Game of the Year edition, right?
I know.
Almost a year later after it had been leaked. Like, how much content, how much prepared content was in this fucking game?
Like, I did the leaks videos. Yeah. Like some leaks of Samaria stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just pushed away, hidden in a file somewhere, evil Ruby and the demon
like they
spawn.
Recorded lines for Lori, like a lot of them, and never used them.
No, I don't understand what was all this cut content. Just I would love for them to just release it all and just be like, he is what we had originally, he is all the extra characters we already had made. Just fucking have them. We're gonna shut the servers off anyway.
Yeah, I mean the Chris of the K's with the world. I still think the game is going, but there's like,
still hope. You guys are gaslighting.
Yeah, like I remember, like, and I've had a lot of people ask me, like, what do you think the chances are they're gonna sell this game? And I'm like, 0. I think the chances are 0, because no company
I had that question
is going
a lot.
to buy that from them, because there's like 8 licenses. Like, no one wants to deal with that unless you establish that relationship.
Well, when I asked the dev about a new map, his response was, there is 7 investors in Evil Dead the game, and all 7 of them have to come forward and say they want that new content.
And that was if they didn't include Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Because Warner Brothers made 8.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm pretty sure Sony's in there now somewhere, right?
Yeah,
because of Evil Dead 2013. Sony Pictures did that.
Yeah,
movie.
they were in there from the get-go. I assumed. I always counted them as one. Yeah, because of 2013. Because I always counted them as part of it, because I knew 2013 was part of the season pass. So I'm like, they're already in.
Yeah,
we already know Sony's there. But like, like no company is gonna be like, I want that, without having it like established, years of building those relationships.
The only way that's going to happen, I would say, is what I've always said, where they handed off to Tripwire. But Tripwire's got Killing Floor 3 coming out, and I can't see them taking on Evil Dead. As much as I'd love for them to just hand it off to Tripwire and just be like, there you go, because they own Tripwire. I don't think it would be a case of like, well, we've got to sell the contract to Tripwire. It's like they own the fucking company, so it's just
or they send it to THQ. THQ does pretty good work.
Yeah,
because they're a fellow Embracer company.
So like moving it around the company would make more sense if they cared, but they don't.
But no one outside is going to get anywhere near that, because anyone, like, feasibly, you look at that and you're like, okay, 2 license holders. All right, we can deal with that.
Yeah.
7, and that's if you don't bring in